This is Plant-Based Briefing, a plant-based diet for beginners, what to eat, benefits, and how to succeed, Part 1, by Ocean Robbins at foodrevolution.org. And I'm your host, Marian Erickson, and this is the curated content plant-based podcast, where I get permission from authors to read articles on a variety of plant-based and vegan topics in about 10 minutes or less every weekday. And today's article is a bit longer than that, so I've split it up into 3 parts. I'll read part 1 today, and then parts 2 and 3 in the next 2 episodes. It's from Ocean Robbins. He's the CEO of Food Revolution Network. They're a nonprofit organization committed to healthy, ethical, and sustainable food for all. So now let's get to today's plant-based briefing. A plant-based diet for beginners, what to eat, benefits, and how to succeed. Part 1, by Ocean Robbins at foodrevolution.org. Summary: eating a plant-based diet is one of the healthiest things you can do for your body and the environment. And as plant-based diets increase in popularity and acceptance, more and more people are turning to them. Curious about a plant-based diet? Discover what to eat and avoid, plant-based diet benefits for your health and the environment, and ways to implement it into your life for optimal success. Are you ever confused by all the conflicting theories about what trendy diet is the best or healthiest? That's not an accident. The food industry makes the vast majority of its profits selling unhealthy junk. And the more confused we are, the more likely we are to throw up our hands and go with the flow. So they profit from reversals like butter is back or red wine fights heart disease that contradict what we were told last year. And in the age of online advertising and clickbait headlines, the media knows that the headline, "Bacon is actually the fountain of youth," will get a lot more attention than "broccoli is good for you." It's easy to see why most people believe that we don't know much about food and health. Keto, vegan, Mediterranean, paleo, Atkins, raw? Heck, I'll just have a cheeseburger and a beer and call it a day. The truth, very well hidden behind the noise and the marketing, is that nearly every serious scientist and research organization in the world recommends a diet rich in whole plant foods that are minimally processed. We can argue about the details, like oil or oil-free, the majority of calories from grains or from vegetables, raw or cooked, but the basic idea, clearly stated by Michael Pollan as mostly plants, is pretty much irrefutable once you look at the evidence. Why have plant-based diets become popular? Plants are full of the richest sources of nutrients the human body needs in order to thrive. Fruits and vegetables in particular provide us with antioxidants, phytochemicals, fiber, enzymes, and essential vitamins and minerals. In other words, plant-based diet benefits come from all the good stuff our bodies need to be healthy and strong. There's also an overwhelming amount of research showing that eating more plants and fewer animal products can help prevent or even reverse many of the worst chronic ailments of our time. And if that's not motivating enough, plant-based diets benefit the environment too. Eating in this way puts a dent in climate change and reduces the incidence of animal suffering and cruelty. That's a lot of upsides, right? It's no surprise then that interest in adopting a plant-based lifestyle has skyrocketed in the last few years. According to a recent food and health survey conducted by the International Food Information Council Foundation, over half of U.S. consumers are interested in learning more about plant-based diets, and sales of plant-based meats and dairy products are growing exponentially, even outperforming their animal-based counterparts in some cases. I know a lot of people kicking themselves that they didn't invest in Beyond Meat back in May of 2019, given the massive gain in its stock price. Are you curious about what exactly a plant-based diet is, how to get started, and how to make it stick? If so, you've come to the right place. We've created this handy plant-based diet beginner's guide, so you can have all the information you need right at your fingertips. What is a plant-based diet? Eating a plant-based diet means getting most or all of your calories from fresh, whole plant foods that are minimally processed, or even better, not processed at all. Essentially, it's exactly what it sounds like, a diet made of mostly plants. A plant-based diet can also be vegetarian or vegan, but these diets aren't necessarily outright plant-based. There are plenty of junk food vegans who might not eat animal products, but still consume a variety of processed foods. To quote Michael Pollan, "If it came from a plant, eat it. If it was made in a plant, don't." What can you eat on a plant-based diet? When picturing what a plant-based meal looks like, fruits and vegetables probably come to mind, and they're an important part of just about any healthy diet. But you're not limited to these foods. There are a wide variety of plant foods to enjoy. The major types of food typically eaten on a plant-based diet include fruits, for example, apples, berries, kiwis, mangoes, avocado, bananas, jackfruit, etc. Vegetables like onions, broccoli, beets, potatoes, mushrooms, carrots, etc. Whole grains like quinoa, millet, buckwheat, wheat, rice, corn. Beans and legumes like black beans, chickpeas, lentils, edamame, peas. Nuts and seeds like almonds, cashews, chia seeds, flax seeds, walnuts. Herbs and spices like turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, oregano, garlic, cayenne, etc. And fermented foods like kimchi, sauerkraut, miso, natto, etc. Eating across all these food groups will help you get an abundance of micronutrients from your food. Also, when choosing from each category, think eat the rainbow. Colorful plant foods are full of phytochemicals, a fancy word that just means chemicals from plants, and antioxidants that are good for keeping different parts of your body healthy. Another easy way to eat the healthiest combination of plant foods is by remembering an acronym coined by Dr. Joel Fuhrman, gbombs. GBOMBS stands for greens, beans, onions, mushrooms, berries, and seeds. What do you avoid on a plant-based diet? When choosing to eat a plant-based diet, you'll want to focus mainly on fresh foods. In a grocery store, that means primarily shopping the outer aisles. If possible, choose organic foods as much as possible to avoid exposure to GMOs and pesticides. For more information on pesticides in produce and guidance on the most important foods to buy organic, see our article here. However, the main foods you should avoid on a plant-based diet are most or all animal products, especially factory-farmed meat, eggs, and dairy products. Refined sugars like white sugar, cane sugar, high fructose corn syrup, chemical-based, calorie-free sweeteners, etc. High-processed vegetable oils like corn oil, cottonseed oil, sunflower oil, peanut oil, soybean oil, etc. White flour, especially bleached white flour, which is full of chemicals and heavy metals and virtually devoid of nutrition. Junk food, including most cookies, chips, crackers, snack bars, sweetened drinks, packaged foods, etc. And GMOs, the primary genetically engineered crops are corn, soy, canola, sugar beets, cotton, and alfalfa, plus a bit of apple, zucchini, and potato. You'll also want to pay special attention to nutrition labels. By reading labels, you can avoid ultra-processed and harmful ingredients. Packaged foods should have as few ingredients as possible. As a general rule, if you can't pronounce an ingredient or don't know what it is, put the food back. Many packaged foods are full of health claims like, quote-unquote, all-natural or non-GMO, but most of these phrases are branding tactics meant to mislead consumers into thinking a product is healthy. This is called greenwashing. To learn more about greenwashing and what seals and certifications you can actually trust, read our article linked here. What about gluten and grains? For most people, grains can be part of a healthy plant-based diet. Some of my favorites are quinoa, millet, amaranth, buckwheat, oats, and teff. In many studies, whole grains have been shown to help fight heart disease, type 2 diabetes, cancer, and even obesity. But not everything is peachy in grainland. Most of the grains eaten in the world today are sprayed with pesticides, and some crops, especially wheat, may even be treated with glyphosate as a desiccant to dry out the crop before harvest. Then there's rice, which, while popular, is often contaminated with a disturbing amount of arsenic. For some medical conditions like autoimmune diseases, grains can also cause inflammation in the gut and contribute to symptoms. This is especially true with the gluten present in wheat. Although only about 1% of the world's population has diagnosed celiac disease, many more show signs of gluten intolerance with symptoms like headaches, joint pain, skin problems, seizures, and digestive issues. If you're facing any of these symptoms, it can be helpful to go gluten-free for 3 to 6 months and see if they clear up. While many people have jumped on the gluten-free bandwagon, that doesn't mean it's necessarily best for everyone. A few studies actually show health benefits from eating whole grain wheat products. For more on this, see our article on gluten linked here. If you're going to eat wheat, though, you might want to look for 100% whole wheat, since white flour doesn't do your body any favors, and aim to make sure your grains are organically grown so you can avoid glyphosate contamination. You just listened to A Plant-Based Diet for Beginners, What to Eat, Benefits, and How to Succeed, Part 1 by Ocean Robbins at foodrevolution.org. And I'm your host, Marian Erickson, and this is Plant-Based Briefing. Tune in tomorrow for Part 2. Thanks for listening.